Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and it's official. The SEC v. Ripple lawsuit has been delayed yet again. And you know why? At least it's for a delightful reason. The reason that the case is being delayed is because there's been so much unprecedented third-party support, actors jumping into this, filing amicus briefs, that the asshats at the SEC had no recourse but to request extra time. And actually, Ripple was okay with it, and today the judge did approve it. So I'm going to share with you a bunch of the stuff that was said on this topic, including stuff from Ripple's top in-house lawyer, Stuart Alderati. He's their general counsel, as well as Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse. I've got some stuff from attorney John Deaton on this. And then I have a separate topic, and this is unbelievable. Except for, I don't know, with this guy, maybe it's not unbelievable, but it's a thing that happened. There's a toxic Bitcoin maximalist that publicly called for Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse to be hung. I kid you not. It's got 500,000 followers on Twitter, roughly. 500,000. And he's tweeting that. Insane stuff. Like this, and thankfully, a bunch of people on Twitter have been reporting him within the XRP community, because this is just disgusting, repulsive stuff. This is not okay to say, not remotely. But to this point, Twitter, even under new ownership to this point anyway, has done nothing. In fact, I saw one XRP community member that got some sort of automated response where they were declining to move forward with any sort of action against this individual. But can you believe this? This is off the rails crazy, as far as I'm concerned. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a legal or financial background of any kind. I am not offering legal or financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. Shout out and credit to James K. Filan, XRP community member and attorney, who shared this news. Initiated yesterday, and then we got news today that from Judge Torres that indeed she's like, okay, thumbs up, that's what's happening. Here's what Attorney Filan wrote. The SEC has filed a motion to extend the time to file all parties' reply briefs until November 30th, 2022, and asks the court to order that any additional amicus briefs be filed by November 11th, 2022. Ripple consents. New dates in motion. Okay, so to be super clear, there have now been 12 amicus briefs filed. So these are third parties, not part of the SEC v. Ripple case, that want to be a part of the case, but just in the capacity of basically almost like a consulting role, effectively. It's amicus curiae, which means friends of the court. And so 12 third parties have responded, which is unprecedented, especially for a case at this particular level, or a trial at this particular level, potential trial anyway. And hell, might just end up in summary judgment. That seems more probable anyway. But setting that aside, I'm just saying that because of all this unprecedented action in support of Ripple, the SEC saying we don't have the manpower to respond to all of it. We need extra time to be able to respond to that. That's what they were requesting, and the judge said yes, and Ripple consented, and that's whatever. That's fine. So it is going to push the actual case back by roughly an extra couple weeks. SEC again, but that's why I keep saying, it is delightful in the sense that, although I don't want to, none of us want to wait any longer, it's delightful in the sense that it's happening for the reason that the SEC is just in over their heads. They never anticipated this type of blowback in doing what they do, but they done messed with the wrong community. That's for damn sure. And so Stuart Alderati retweeted that information from attorney Filan, and Stuart Alderati, who again is Ripple's general counsel, that's their top in-house legal guy, he said the following. A dozen independent voices, companies, developers, exchanges, public interest, and trade associations, retail holders, all filing an SEC v. Ripple to explain how dangerously wrong the SEC is. The SEC's response? We need more time, not to listen or engage, but to blindly bulldoze on. That's exactly what they're doing. Because all they're going to do, you know this, right? They're going to respond, and it's going to be a bunch of the same stuff over and over and over again. They're wrong. They're not curious. They're not open-minded, not in the least. They're going to make a bunch of BS, disingenuous arguments, which we've seen time and again for almost 2 whole years at this point. It's going to be more of the same in that respect. So Stuart Alderati's hitting the nail on the head, unfortunately. But still, if we're going to have a delay, at least it's because the SEC is completely getting owned by the entire world. And then there was this from Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple CEO. He said, For those of you keeping count, 12 Amici briefs submitted. It's unprecedented, I'm told, to have this happen at this stage. They each explain in their own unique way the irreparable harm the SEC will do to every facet of the U.S. crypto economy if it gets its way. Spot on, Mr. Garlinghouse. Here's what Attorney Deaton had to say. On January 1st, 2001, only 9 days after the SEC filed its case versus Ripple, I filed a writ of mandamus versus the SEC pleading with them to only pursue Ripple and the way Ripple offers and sells XRP. The writ challenged the SEC's good faith basis, or lack thereof, to claim the token itself as a security and asked the secondary market sales should be declared not alleged to be securities. It wasn't a big ask to make, considering 76 years of case law and SEC guidance said so. So just pause to think about this. All he's saying right here is, you'd have me off your back. I won't be seeking to participate in the case, SEC, if you just acknowledge XRP itself is not a security. You're just going after Ripple. I'm out. And what did they do? Well, you know what they did, right? Attorney Deaton continues. Instead of clarifying that secondary market sales were not being implicated, the SEC blamed the exchanges for delisting XRP and replied that the court would test the validity of the SEC's claims about XRP. They admitted this was a test case in so many words. When I filed the motion to intervene, Ripple lawyers, likely not wanting some possible loose cannon like me involved in the case, literally told the judge that if the SEC made it clear that it wasn't claiming secondary market sales are securities, I shouldn't be involved. Let me pause there. Think about that, folks. Ripple said, literally, that Attorney Deaton should not be involved in the case in any capacity if the SEC makes clear that secondary sales, so that means, what you and I do in terms of buying and selling, like on exchanges, for example, that those are not security sales. That's all the SEC had to do. They could have done it. They didn't do it. They didn't want to do it. And outside of that, as a result, Ripple's all for having Attorney Deaton in. They publicly stated that as well. And then John says, the SEC instead said XRP and even XRP traded in the secondary market represents the investment contract. And that's a quote. Ripple lawyers gave the SEC the perfect opportunity to limit this case to just the SEC versus Ripple, but the SEC chose to go with the SEC versus all of crypto. All the different Amici are filing briefs because the SEC decided to test an implausible theory, stretching Howey beyond recognition in an attempt to make a power grab for this emerging and developing asset class. And that, my friends, is the 100% truth. Exactly, spot on. The SEC had a way out of this type of response from basically the entire damn world. But, they just, these terrible people with their egos and bad intentions and lack of ethics and seeking to basically take this, jurisdictional land grab, it was too sweet of a pot for them to ignore. So they just went ahead and did it anyway. Here's what Attorney Bill, member of the XRP community, had to say. As a foreign lawyer and crypto holder, it is hard for me to articulate how bewildering it is to me to see a major American agency act publicly before a global audience in such a disreputable manner that brings such discredit to the USA. Well, I'll tell you what, as a United States citizen myself, I still firmly agree with that. You are spot on, Attorney Bill. Now on to the next topic, which is repulsive, and I'll get to the worst of it in just a second here. But Max Keiser, who is the toxic Bitcoin maximalist that I was citing at the outset of this video, he retweeted that same message from Stuart Alderati, Ripple's top in-house lawyer that I shared with you just a couple minutes ago. And he retweeted it, and toxic Bitcoin maximalist Max Keiser has a different take now. Mind you, Max Keiser has 488,000 followers on Twitter. He's one of the most well-known figures in the entire Bitcoin community. Everyone knows who Max Keiser is. If you don't, okay, fine, then maybe you're new. I'd be surprised if you haven't at least heard the name. Maybe you haven't, but I know not literally everybody has, and that's fine. But I'm telling you, this guy's super well known. He's all over the place. He's always at Bitcoin conferences. And this guy Whoa, what a piece of work. I'll just say that. So he retweeted that from Stuart Alderati, and he is, again, a toxic Bitcoin maximalist. He's against anything that's not Bitcoin because of reasons. That's basically it. And here's what he said. The SEC is right to shut down XRP as an unregistered security. Ultimately, the SEC will win for the obvious reason it's against the law to create and sell unregistered securities. All the semantics, word games, and logic contortions by XRPers won't change this. Remember, XRP/Ripple was always a shell game explicitly set up by Brad to elude SEC laws, and the deception held for years until the SEC took a closer look and figured out Brad's con. In the end, the SEC will win. S-words going to zero against Bitcoin. So there you go. A warning, XRP is going to zero because this idiot says it is. There's so much wrong with this. In terms of him stating that this is Brad's con and Brad set this up, Brad didn't even join Ripple until it was either 2015 or 2016, and even then he wasn't the CEO. He was in a higher up position, but he wasn't running the company when he first jumped in. Chris Larson was CEO at the time. And so Ripple was set up, it was founded in 2012, and he's calling this Brad's con when Brad joined the company in 2015 or 2016, and he wasn't the CEO until sometime after that. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Now, that's obvious. It's very clear. And he's not... He's like whatever a securities lawyer is, however you define that, this guy, Max Keiser, would be the perfect opposite of that. He is not, in terms of his legal understanding, he has no idea what the hell he's talking about. He doesn't remotely understand securities law. And I don't pretend to be some sort of lawyer. I play one on YouTube. But no, having done the research, even though I sure as hell don't have a law degree, nowhere near having that type of legal understanding, having listened to people who do know what they're talking about for almost 2 years, I have a pretty reasonable understanding of what's going on in this case and the world of crypto. Max Keiser does not. And so this is bad enough. It's just him, and he should stay in his own little Bitcoin maxi troll corner. I don't know. He talks about Ripple and XRP all the time. He's constantly tweeting about it. It's like it's increasing. He doesn't need to do this. I don't know if it's just an insecurity thing. I'm not so sure. He's really mad at XRP, and I just want to tell him to just be like, here, point on this doll where that bad XRP touched you. Because I don't understand why he's so mad about it, right? And then there was this, and this is the really bad one. So this is from Max Keiser, and he shared this story. I'm not going to read the story. It's from Bitcoin. It's titled, Now 11 Entities Back Ripple with an Amicus Brief versus the SEC. And now it's actually not 12 now, but at the time the article was written, it was 11. So here's what Max Keiser had to say, and this is repulsive. I can't believe he gets away with this on Twitter. But anyway, he says, the crypto S-word coin industry is a scam. The only folks on this list are scammers. So pause and think about this. I've run through all of the amicus briefs to this point. He's saying that all of the participants in the amicus briefs, they're all scammers. So think about Spin the Bits, which actually fulfilled Satoshi Nakamoto's vision of moving Bitcoin around as a peer-to-peer cash system. You can actually spend it like Satoshi Nakamoto originally envisioned. That's what he's using XRP and the XRP ledger to do. That he's literally calling that a scam. You can think about TapJets, which is a company that charters private jets. They're scammers because they accept XRP as payment. That's what this idiot is saying. What a damn fool. Really grinds my gears. And then there's iRemit, a customer of Ripple's utilizing on-demand liquidity, benefits their customers so they can pass on cheaper rates and help some of the poorest people on the planet have cheaper cross-border payments. But that's a scam too. Everything's a scam. Then there's the Chamber of Digital Commerce. They filed one too. Blockchain Association, they filed one too. And all that, it's everyone. If you're filing amicus, you're just a scammer. He didn't read any of this, I'm sure. He wants to say the things. He likes to make these bombastic claims. And then, you know what else he does? Look at this. Who can reply? People Max Keiser mentioned can reply. He literally shut down communication. So if you're on Twitter, you can't reply. Because when he would say all this stuff in the past, and even recently, he wasn't doing this. And all sorts of people from the community were responding, telling him why he's wrong, this and that. He doesn't want to hear it. He just wants to live in his own little echo chamber, just enjoying his stupid comments that aren't grounded in reality. And then he said, the SEC needs to set a precedent against scams like XRP/Ripple and rip them to shreds. Send Brad to the gallows. And there you go. Max Keiser calling for Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse to be hung. And so I just retweeted that and simply wrote, insane person Max Keiser is calling for Brad Garlinghouse to be hung. Because when I read that, I was just in stunned disbelief. Like, I understand how ridiculous this guy is. I get it. He's a piece of work. He really is. But this is seriously crossing the line. Like, truly off the rails, bat S-word crazy stuff. You can't say that. Like, you can't. Are you kidding me? That is crossing a line. That is seriously crossing a line. And it's just so tribal and stupid. And the stuff he's saying about Ripple and XRP, it's not in the pursuit of truth. It's in the pursuit of manipulating people. And all of his followers that don't know about Ripple and XRP, if they trust him, they're just going to see this from him. They're just going to believe it. It's not about intellectual honesty. It's about tricking people. This is a bad person. This is an intellectually dishonest person, aka a liar. That's who this is. What a piece of work. Oh my God. Really steams my vegetables, but I feel a little bit better having let that out. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.